Hello and welcome to my second podcast of the evening. As you can tell, this is a less serious one by Owen Murphy in the middle of the screen, acting like a complete another twat already. Obviously, this is one of the busiest days in the history of the world in terms of election and politics, and I am delighted to be joined by Old Man Murphy and the Brain Daddy YT. It's my pleasure and my privilege to have two other idiots in the room because it's been lonely. So this podcast is a little bit different. We're going to talk about the election, obviously Donald Trump and everything else, but we're going to add a little bit of personality. If Brain Daddy can find his, we're going to add some personality to it. He'll probably just do an Irish accent for the entire hour that we're going to be here.
What are you talking about?
we're happy to be live on YouTube, and hello to everybody who's watching. Hopefully we have a couple of thousand people here. Thanks very much. And that's a joke. Now, so just the introductions. My name is Paddy the Panda. I'm obviously an Irishman. I'm obsessed with US politics. Most of my content is on TikTok. I try to add a little bit of humor, and when it happens, it's great. When it doesn't, it's normal. And I'm on Twitter as well, Paddy the Panda 30, and I'm on other things as well, which I'll tell you about later on. Old Man Murphy, why don't you sell yourself a little bit there, and we'll see if the Brain Daddy has anything to say.
Hi. Okay, Mike. No, you're this
over
way.
here.
No,
hey, bud.
Old Man Murphy. I'm on TikTok. Obviously, as you can see in the comments, there's a lot of people. Our three favorite TikTokers are here. I got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/WellHeyProductions. I got a Twitch channel, which I do every Saturday. I just play video games. It's not political at all. This is my only political platform. So it's nice to change it up. But at the same time, I try to do it as informative and entertainment and funny as possible. And I miss doing the Whose Line Is It Anyway with Brain Daddy.
Oh, I got more.
Oh, good. You better bring them on.
Wow.
I got more.
I mean, I don't think I was invited to that party, but hey, maybe I'm just too big. I'm not sure.
You have been tagged in a few of them.
You have been.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Maybe I'm just still ignoring you. I guess.
You see, you see Brain Daddies, and you're like, oh.
Well, it depends on which Brain Daddy account, because you've only got 14 of them right now. So Brain Daddy, why don't you take it away? Take it away, Brain Daddy. Let people know.
Yeah, totally. I'm Brain Daddy. I am the store brand version of Paddy the Panda. I'm like the Kroger brand. I'm sorry, you don't have Kroger there in fucking whatever place you live in.
Wow.
Do you have the Lucky Charms merch? Is that your store?
Boy. Jesus Christ.
Lord. Already we're at it.
I've pissed him off. I have already upset him.
Can't follow basic instruction. Just tell the people who you are.
I am Mike. I like politics.
My name is Mike.
Hi, Mike. Is this like Alcoholics Anonymous now?
My name is Mike.
I'm Mike and I like politics. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike. How you doing?
I have to say that the commenters have no idea what the hell is happening, because they were expecting it was really kind of serious, intense. Oh, the polls are in, and obviously we're going to get there, but we're still waiting after 7 minutes now for Brain Daddy to tell us who.
Oh my God, I'm Brain Daddy. I'm on TikTok under the Brain Daddy YT. Yeah, and I do what I thought was funny things, but according to Patrick over here, I am just a fat blob of nothing who does nothing.
Well, as I said to you earlier, I'm twice the size of you, but I also have twice the amount of followers. So yeah, it's okay. Sorry about that. Anyway,
you really do.
So yeah, that's a true story, even with all of your accounts. Anyway, so listen, we're going to start off with, so today the FBI are now investigating the fact that several thousand potential voters were called and told, don't come to your local polling station. The queues are too long. And come tomorrow instead, which reminds me of my romantic life. Don't come today, come tomorrow, and then they typically move out. Thanks very much for that.
I normally remember you said, don't come today, come back. And normally that's what I do is I come on the back. So,
wow.
Yeah,
wow.
there
okay,
you had.
Just for the kids in the audience.
I don't.
Yeah, that's.
I'm too old to care anymore.
we're talking about romantic exercise. It's something that happens when you're a grown up and when you love each other.
One day I'll learn. One day
when
I'll
two
know.
people get drunk enough, they go into the coat room and they do naughty things all over the coats.
Okay, so I'm going to pull it back here. So that's what she said. Okay, I'm going to pull it back, and okay, this is going to be a disaster. What am I doing with my life? Okay, so who do you think is responsible for these calls? Is it Russia? Is it Trump supporters? Is it Iran? Is it Ireland? Who do you think is responsible? Let's go with you first, old man Murphy.
I'm going to put stock into just GOP pollsters that are, they know that their blood is in the water, and they're trying to do anything and everything that they can do to, delegitimize this election. I mean, if that's a word, I think that's a word Trump invented or something like that. But you guys get the general gist. It's everything that the Republicans or the GOP has done for the last 4 years is just to silence as much of the people as they can. We saw it in 2018. I mean, there's been a lot of voter suppression, and it's just their last ditch effort to try to silence the vote. I think this is an inside job. Okay,
that's interesting because so far the people, my contacts have said that it's Russian interference, but it's been allowed by the intelligence services on the instruction of the GOP and Donald Trump. What about you, Mike?
I see this being more as not as a foreign involvement thing. I feel like this is more of it feels almost childish in a way. Like it feels like something like a teenager would do as a prank. And that's kind of the mentality of Trump supporters, which is where I'm going into, is that I think could be someone, powerful in the Trump supporter world, but I really think it's just someone here in the States doing it. I don't think it's a foreign involvement thing.
Kind of like Bart Simpson ringing into Moe's Tavern, looking for Mr. Over, Mr. Bend Over kind of thing.
Yeah, man to hug and kiss. Yeah.
Well, Jesus Christ. Man to hug and kiss. Yeah, okay. We're very romantic tonight, aren't we? We're talking about all of the bodily fluids.
Should I light a candle?
That's what Donald Trump says to Ivanka every night.
Yeah, true.
I went there. So did he. But so I would have to agree. I don't think that it's this master James Bond themed kind of scenario because it wasn't big enough. That's what she said as well. Simply because there was the pool sample, the people who were called, it was only a couple of thousand rather than tens of thousands. And if it was some sort of orchestrated scenario, I think it would have been more. But all roads lead back to the GOP with this kind of stuff, And we talked in previous shows about, Trump supporters are not exactly bright. So they're typically, there's a puppet master somewhere kind of leading the charge. And I just want to give a brief update there. I'm following the New York Times, and they have it currently Biden 85 Electoral College, Trump 55. South Carolina, Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and Oklahoma for Trump. Vermont, Connecticut, Virginia, Maryland, Illinois for Joe Biden so far.
And I see that Biden, it's still kind of early, but Biden's winning in Texas by like 8%.
Yeah, I see that. And Florida is probably the one that we're all most interested of. Right. So far, it's 49.8% Trump, 49.1% Biden, with 85% of estimated votes reported. So that's incredibly close. But we did all expect that, didn't we?
No. I thought it would be kind of more of a. I honestly thought it'd be more of a lean towards Biden.
It's been flip flopping.
The whole time.
Periodic.
Yeah.
I think we can't call anything right now anyway.
Right.
Until the actual data comes in. But it's just interesting to see. I definitely thought Biden would be up by 5 percentage points at this point. But Trump is really hanging in there. I'm surprised because I genuinely thought the over 65 vote had abandoned Trump in some way, shape, or form. But obviously the 65,000 rallies he's done there in the last 7 days has maybe kind of helped him a little bit.
Yep.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he won in one of the counties. They were saying that had the highest population in the country of the elderly, and that county went very, very red. It looks like.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary because I was hoping that Florida would be called tonight, or you know, and that would kind of give us a real indication that Biden was going to win. But it doesn't change my projections. I'm still very confident that it's going to be a Biden win, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But listen, guys, I want to hear real talk. I want to hear what do you think is the best attribute of each of the candidates and the worst. So I want you to tell me what do you like most about Joe Biden and like least about Joe Biden, and the same for Donald Trump. Just throw it out there, and you can add your little bit of personality if you wish.
God, I have to say something positive about. I gotta say something positive about Trump. I gotta say something good about Trump.
Yeah, well, you don't have to. If there's no redeemable qualities, that's okay. But I just wanted something positive because we're so consumed sometimes with just saying negative. Mm-hmm. I want to hear something positive about the candidates.
Well, see, for me, starting with Joe Biden is 100% a man of the people. Like, that's kind of what I like so much about him. He has like that everyman quality. I do also kind of look at it more to like on the negative side. To me, is his history with, you know, that people always have to bring up about segregation and all this stuff. And now, me personally, I think that's just sort of a thing of the past. But that is like a lingering kind of a lingering fart of a thing that sort of just like still keeps clinging on to him, because he still says crap like, you know, if you don't vote for me, you're not black, that kind of thing. Like, he says the stupid crap that I feel like he should know better by now, if that makes sense. Like, he still says these subtle little racist kind of. I don't think he means them as racist, but he says them in that that's what the other side clings on to of like, haha, you said that.
It's kind of that old that grandpa kind of talk that we kind of expect, and while in one way that's very endearing, in another way it's really kind of harmful.
It is.
And I suppose probably the biggest example of what you're talking about is, you know, saying the silly things like defund the police became a massive talking point for the Republicans and the GOP. And it's like, do the Dems have a marketing department at all? Because that's like the worst thing you could have possibly said, especially during a pandemic. Murph, what do you think?
Let's see. Good pros and cons of Biden. I would the con. I would have to agree with both of you. You know, some of his little his old man slip ups. Where, you know, he said that he's you know, this, but you know, he actually, you know, he couldn't remember. He slipped up saying his wife's name and he said something else, or, you know, just those little slip ups that happen, you know, and we all do that. I mean, but that's also part of the thing I like the most about him is that he's a very endearing human quality that we have been devoid of for the last 4 years.
Yep.
Where, I mean, he takes the job seriously, but he doesn't take himself seriously. And that I absolutely love, where he can laugh at himself and he can say, you know, about the crime bill. He said, yeah, we passed legislation. I did not know how harmful it would be, but now I can see back and it was a mistake. And I would like to take that and learn from it and build off of that and, you know, make better legislation based off the mistakes we have made in the past. So with Trump, it's just like, I can't do any wrong. I am infallible. And it's, dude, you've fucked up for 4 goddamn years.
That's one of the most frustrating things about Trump is that he does not take ownership of anything ever. He just passes the blame on every single person around him. It's never his fault. And Biden, you can see it, like just like you said in the debates, he said, "Yeah, we made some mistakes. Like I'm not proud of it." And that takes a real genuine man to come out and say, "Yeah, that was stupid. Like we shouldn't have done that."
In the second debate, didn't Joe Biden say at one point to Donald Trump, "Come on, man, you don't take any responsibility at all." And Donald Trump said, "I take full responsibility, but it's not my fault."
Correct.
And that kind of breath. that kind of says everything that you need to know about Donald.
Exactly.
Since day one, even from the crowd sizes to children in cages to impeachment, nothing has ever been his fault. Even his typos, even his typos in his tweets were deliberate. You know what I mean? That's how psychotic he can be. And I think in terms of Joe Biden, I do like the fact that he does apologize for mistakes that he's made in the past. You can't be in politics for 47 years and have a complete, perfect record. But it's telling that in those 47 years, the only thing that the GOP could come up with was his son's alleged wrongdoings. They couldn't come up with anything really which
weren't even proven wrongdoings either.
Does anybody know what happened? Patty? Do you have the laptop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold
on.
No, I have Hunter Biden's laptop.
Okay, good. I was wondering what happened to that thing.
I bought it off a blind Lebanese man who didn't really speak English, but he spoke perfect Gaeilge. He spoke perfect Irish, ironically.
Oh, fantastic.
I mean, in the fantastic story that is Hunter Biden's laptop. But there was more than one laptop. There was apparently 3 laptops.
Oh, Jesus.
And then, of course, Fox News got a hold of it, put everything onto a USB key, and then lost it, and then found it, and then lost everything on it. Right. So, I mean, the credibility really is ridiculous.
It's like you can't even write this joke better. Like it's this is real life.
And it's Tucker Carlson, who was in court only weeks ago telling a judge, you cannot possibly take us seriously. We're an entertainment show. Yeah. Nobody in their right mind can sue us because nobody could possibly believe us.
And the judge agreed.
And the judge agreed. Yeah. And out of every media outlet in the entire world, they said, we're going to give this to Tucker.
Right.
Yeah.
We're giving this to Tucker Carlson. No backups, nothing. There you go.
Yeah.
So in terms of your own states, guys, because I'm conscious that we kind of have a global kind of you're in Wisconsin, isn't it, Murph?
Yep. Yes.
How are things looking there in terms of 2 things? Because I saw you were driving around the streets of your hometown earlier. How are the queues looking? Is it looking safe? And how are you projecting your state?
Did you say queues?
Lines.
Queues, yeah.
Queues? Oh my god.
Queue. It's a queue.
Yeah, I know what it is, but
it's pronounced Q, but it's pronounced Q, but you look at the word and it's Q-U-U-U-U-E.
Yeah, Q-U-U-U-E.
Q-U-E.
Q-U-E.
So from what I've heard from other people in the Wisconsin area, it's that it's running pretty smoothly. There might be a little delay in some of the lines, maybe an hour, maybe 2, but nothing that's stretching out the whole, you're wasting a whole day. Like when I posted the video earlier, there wasn't a line. There was nothing coming out the door. I've been there 2016. When I got to the poll, the line was actually coming out of the door a little bit. It was about a 45-minute wait, and they had the system down pretty smooth. But from what I've heard from other people that have voted in Wisconsin, it's running. The ship's running pretty smoothly. Good.
I'm glad. And what about Arizona?
Yeah, same thing in Arizona. We haven't had any issues here. I know the turnout this morning was really big, but see, a lot of things here in Arizona, a lot of us vote early anyway, because mail-in voting has been here for 20 years, and I've actually never voted in person because my entire, adult life of voting, I've lived here, and I've always done mail-in voting because I just thought it was easier. But that's a lot of people here do mail-in voting regardless of what Trump says and what the pandemic is. And we still had record turnouts too, for much like most states, for early voting. So the lines today weren't very big because a lot of people had already voted.
And we forget that 100 million people have already voted before today. And the vast majority of those are actually Democrats. So if people see a lot of Republicans in queues, like we've all kind of taken that into consideration, knowing that the vast majority of Dems have like Arizona is important because it's a swing state, I guess, and it's undecided. Yeah. How you fix? Because right now everybody's still saying it's undecided. So what do you reckon? I mean,
Arizona, just visually speaking, from what I've seen and from what I've heard from people, Arizona, it's polling blue, but also people feel like it's going to be turning blue. Like, you drive around in like the Phoenix area, you see these big Trump Pence signs, but are then defaced with like piece of crap, shithead, like all over the place. People have ripped up his signs. People have plastered Biden stickers all over their signs. It's like everywhere. And so you get this vibe that people here are fed up with Donald Trump and they don't care for his supporters. And then also we have Martha McSally, who's it's a big Senate race here.
Yeah, true.
And people hate that woman. So I think Arizona, regardless, I think is going to flip blue for the Senate. In terms of the presidential race, I think it's just too like flip-floppy right now to know.
And I think very often people forget that the Senate is almost as important as the presidential race now, because
this year
the Democrats have a chance to maybe turn to 52-48. And there's still two very much undecided votes or undecided seats there. So yeah, I guess we'll be awake into the early hours of the morning looking at that. I'm looking at the polls here, guys, and I'm looking at
Texas just flipped red. They got 25. They got 25% reporting. It's Trump 49.9% to Biden's 48.7%.
I have the updated one, 32% reported, and it's Biden 54, Donald 44 in Texas.
In Texas?
Yeah, I got Texas back, 32% reported, 52% is Biden, 46.7 is Trump. So,
and that's a major swing. But Florida is also red right now. Biden, Trump is
Ohio,
up by a couple of votes.
Biden's up by a shit ton in Ohio.
Yeah, I mean, in Pennsylvania, only 3% is in.
This could be a landslide, but I guess we just got to be very careful in what we're reporting. Love Squad has a question for you, Murph. What's up? You look concerned.
Oh no, I just saw. I'm watching the ticker go, and I just saw Texas flip from blue to red, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so it was a pretty big swing. It was like 10%.
It just flipped like crazy.
53.5% Biden, 45.2% to Trump after 33%. My dude is going to be on a show that I have on later on, and he called that like he's calling Texas blue and Florida red, and I have the opposite. I thought Texas was going to stay red and Florida was going to go blue.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so my dude seems to be very accurate. Like, and of course he digs deep into the data. So guys, if the best case scenario happens and Donald Trump does lose, do you guys think he's going to walk quietly into the night, or do you think he's going to burn the house down, or do you think he's going to just hold himself up in Mar-a-Lago and
he's going to
look at his kids a little bit differently?
He's going to cry for a little bit, I'm sure. He'll puff and he'll do his arm folding thing and go, and this was I was supposed to win. And then no one's going to care. No one's going to give two shits. He's the only one who's actually going to care, or his crackhead family. But I think he's going to throw a fit. He's going to fight it. He's going to try to bring it to court. He's going to do everything. My tummy's fine, thank you. He's going to fight it until the last possible moment. Even if it's a landslide, I see him still fighting it. Like, I don't see him going away quietly, regardless.
So even if he finally has to concede, do you think he's going to continue in the office, continue having rallies, or continue to try and deregulate as much as he can before he's turfed out on the 20th?
I'd like to think that Trump is predictable enough for us to say, yeah, he's going to probably hold rallies just to stick it to people, but at the same time,
pity parties,
yeah. But I don't.
Murph, what do you think?
He's also unpredictable too. So
yeah. First off, there's a couple of people. Thank you, Love Squad, for looking out for me for Uncontrolled Chaos podcast. I'm looking at the Associated Press numbers. So that's where I'm getting my data from. What do I think? He's going to have a pity party because that's what he does. Yeah. That's how many people are going to show up to those pity parties. I wouldn't be surprised if he holds it in a hotel conference room, because not too many people would show. I mean, what's the point at this point?
But do you think his supporters though are going to abandon him? Because I mean, I'm talking about his real cult supporters.
Well, I think if you cut the head off a snake, the body's going to die. If you neuter the dog. I mean, he's just going to curl up in a corner and feel sorry for himself, and he's not going to have any motivation to do much because, I mean, how often has Donald Trump suffered a loss? I mean, this public of one, right?
I just visualize a neutered Donald Trump. Thank you very much.
Well, there you go.
And now
forget about Donald for a second. Think about his supporters.
Yeah, his supporters.
Like, they're very brazen right now, saying, "Okay, I support Donald Trump and all of his ideologies and how racist he is, etc." After he loses, are they still going to be willing to show their neighbors that they're racist?
I think they're they're brazen and they're bold right now because they have someone that's saying it's okay to do this. But as soon as that figurehead is gone, I honestly think all of their motivation, all their bravado is just going to dissipate, and they're going to crawl back under the rock that they came from.
Actually, I just thought of something. Do you think Donald Trump will actually sit there and publicly blame his supporters? I mean, if he loses,
I wouldn't put it past him.
He loses, so will he say this is your fault? Blah 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 blah.
And then his supporters will turn on him.
Correct. Okay, I'm just saying, like, I can see him doing it just because, like, a spiteful little baby, like, you didn't vote for me like you said you would. Silent majority. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, think about it this way. With the Supreme Court, a couple of days ago, he said, and now we got to wait for an extra 3 days because of the Supreme Court. Thanks very much. And he was pretty pissed off because he just put 3 people onto the Supreme Court. So if he's going to be like that and that petty with the Supreme Court of the United States, imagine what he's going to do with Marsha and Karen, who live next door. You know what I mean? Right. He's certainly not going to give an absolute damn about those. I don't know why I said Marsha. I don't know why I said Karen. But
Marsha.
That's a lesbian couple.
Because he was saying COVID, and that's Marsha.
COVID. That's all you ever talk about.
COVID.
You only talk about COVID and not about me.
Yeah. Trump's winning in Michigan right now too, but only 3% is reported. So
just on the other side of that thing, guys, if Biden gets in, what do you think he's going to do first? You know what I mean? Because he has an awful lot to do, but what's he going to do first?
He's going to take the wall down off around the White House. That's the first thing, right?
Well, first of all, he needs to probably burn the whole White House down because that thing is probably disgusting.
Oh, yeah,
Think of all the juices all over that house. Is disgusting.
Man, dude.
Listen,
well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly moist. It's definitely moist.
Moist.
Think of how
it's definitely moist because Donald Trump has penetrated the White House.
Like, he's just robbing my material.
His ball sweat is just every room.
Wow. Okay.
So visualize that, everyone who's watching this real quick, even the kids. But he'll disinfect the house, whatever. But I think the first thing he'll do as president is probably tackle COVID first. I think. Yeah. Because that's the biggest thing we need to fix right now. Because if we fix COVID, you fix the economy. So it kind of like trickles into itself.
Even today, Donald Trump is having a party in the White House.
Right.
400 people are going to be in the West Room or the East Room. Is it the East Room? 400 people are going to be in there. Obviously, just going to be no masks, nothing like that. Even today, Donald Trump is a shitbag of a president.
Yeah, I mean, he's a shitbag no matter what.
I think Biden, when he gets in, I think he's going to spend the next couple of months putting together like the dream team. I'm talking Sally Yates as Attorney General, Elizabeth Warren over education, Pete Buttigieg, even Bernie's going to be involved, AOC. Like, this is a team that we can all get behind.
He'll put the right people for the right jobs, not like putting DeVos for education. Like, he basically picked Dolores Umbridge, Harry Potter, to tackle our educational system.
I mean, this is what happens when you get a retired stripper into the Department of Education. It's
And here's the funny thing. I didn't know who you were talking about because you could have just as easily been talking about the First Lady. And so I wasn't sure who you were talking about there. And that just kind of goes to show, like, Sally Yates, I'm a big fan of Sally Yates. And for those who don't know, she was the Deputy Attorney General who blew the whistle on Mike Flynn and lost her job because of it, because she believed in her office enough to know that she was going to be fired for it. Right. And I think she's an incredible person, and I think she'll absolutely do an amazing job. And Elizabeth Warren, in terms of policy, in terms of policy is unbelievable. Like, in terms of all of the candidates who wrote their policy and wrote their brief, Elizabeth Warren is probably the most impressive. And then you just have the next wave. AOC is coming through. Kamala Harris is a very young woman in politics, and she's probably going to be the first female president of the United States if things go well.
I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm seeing some people there. What's our source? Source about what? Yeah, because we're throwing some outlandish things out there. Pretty crazy. I'm looking in. Is it the ball? In terms of the polls, I'm looking at the New York Times. I think Murphy is looking at the AP, and I think Mike is kind of just winging it, I guess.
I'm using Nickelodeon's website.
Nickelodeon, exactly.
It's very colorful.
So just an update on that. Texas currently is Biden 51.8%, Trump at 46.8% after 44% of the vote. And Florida,
Pennsylvania, it's only 4%, but Pennsylvania, 81% for Biden.
And Trump is looking like he's going to win Florida.
Yeah. If he does, he does. North Carolina looks like it just flipped back to blue. 54.5 for Biden, 44.4 for Trump. That's 47% reporting.
But it's fantastic, and I get very excited about the election anyway, because I love to see democracy in action. I love when people tell me that they brought their kids to the polling stations and they voted. I love the counts. I love the anticipation, but I'm very privileged that I don't have to worry about my safety. So do you guys think that there's going to be mass protests by any side over the next couple of days, or are we all just being paranoid and it's better to be safe than sorry?
You know what I think it is? I think it's sort of our bark is worse than our bite. I think a lot of people, because ahead of time people were like, Proud Boys were like, oh, we're gonna cause a civil war and blah 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 blah, and we're gonna bring our guns, and I think that was more of a scare tactic than an actual threat. I don't feel like they're actually going to come at people, and this is assuming Trump loses. If he loses, I don't see any of their side actually doing anything, because they know the military isn't going to let that shit happen. And
interesting there, General Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, today had a meeting with all of the armed forces and some media, and said, in terms of a transition of power, the military will not be involved in any way, shape, or form. They don't operate at the behest of the president.
Right.
They swore an oath to the Constitution and not to the president.
Correct.
And also there, guys, in terms of Black Lives Matter and this imaginary Antifa organization, they don't really have a reason to protest against a president who's not going to be there in 3 months. So I genuinely think you're going to have idiots with Trump hats walking the streets of major cities looking for somebody to accost. Yeah. So if we stay home, we're safe.
I made a video. I'm like, you Trump supporters just want to be violent. You're not against the violence that's happening. You're against the reason behind the violence. So all this, you're Black Lives Matter or terrorists and blah, blah, blah. You're not mad about the violence because you love that stuff. You're just mad because they're fighting for racial equality, police brutality. That's what you're mad about. Mm-hmm. So if Trump loses, or Trump wins, Black Lives Matter has no reason to do anything with it.
And again, Trump supporters, these Trump supporters who are looking for violence look like me and you, Mike.
Yes,
they've been on the couch playing Call of Duty for the last 10 years, and their daddy bought them an AR-15, and this is their chance. But they can't really walk up a set of stairs without getting out of breath. I know I can. But this is the type of people who are threatening a civil war. Yeah. Murphy, you're very quiet there. Tell us what you think.
I agree with you. If I were to pick up a gun, I could take you out without any problem. Because I can walk up a flight of stairs and not start wheezing. I mean, my knees will feel like shit, but I won't be. So,
you can take me down with the hamburger. I mean, that's all I need. Skinny heart failure.
No, my opinion of these guys that want to start a civil war is exactly what their bark is louder than their bite. They're hiding behind. It's like all the trolls that we have to deal with on TikTok on a daily basis. I mean, they're really brave when they can hide behind their phone or their computer screen.
Their
But as
facial
soon as
profile.
you get them on the front line and you put them face to face, they just back down from any sort of actual fight whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you confront them directly, say, "Hey, I don't like the way you're doing this," and they're like, "Oh, I didn't say that. That's not what I said." And then they just crumble, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm dealing with a coward."
Do you know how many Trump supporters, like, when they comment on my videos, because you guys know I love to respond to comments, and how many times you click that comment about 20 minutes later and the comment's gone?
Yeah.
They deleted it and ran away. So I'm like, that's you were confronted by someone who doesn't give two shits about what you just said about him. A Biden supporter, a snowflake Biden supporter just came after you from my mom's basement and, just rammed my rod through you.
Yeah, that's the one insult I will never understand. I am still living at home, that I am unemployed, that I'm in my mom's basement. What is that's like their go-to phrase.
They take what Donald Trump says and they spit it back out. So they say, Donald Trump says Joe's basement. So therefore they say, well, you must live in your mom's basement. Like, they just recycle his stupid rhetoric bullshit.
And I think Mike, like, you and I are very similar when it comes to replying to these trolls.
Yeah.
Like, I'm obviously better than you at it, but I am. You know what I mean? So, because I do it, I don't even curse when I reply to them. But you and I are very similar because we don't resort to their level of candor. We reply in these are the facts. You're an idiot for believing this, but we don't personally attack them. Right. And it just seems that they're kind of venting their own kind of inner paranoia that they're going to be in 20 years' time still in their mom's basement, still playing Call of Duty on a PS2.
It's classic projection and
absolutely.
I am not as graceful. I will call them. I will just insult them right back. And
I do that from time. I still insult them. It's fun.
I will pull out all the 4-letter Anglo-Saxon words that I can possibly muster.
Yeah.
I love the ones when they say that I think the one that I did, I actually enjoyed doing it when they said, "Oh yeah, you just live in your mom's basement," and then I just took the phone and I ran upstairs calling out for my mom. Said, "Oh yeah, this is my own fucking house."
I did the same thing. I gave them a tour of my basement, which was like, a 4-bedroom house with a pool. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty killer basement. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's pretty sweet. So you're just jealous.
So my favorite. Well, I have two favorite clapbacks that I've done. One is somebody was doing diddly-eye-dee-die kind of nonsense to me, and I replied exclusively Oscuelga in Irish. Now that TikToker, and he's a friend of ours. That TikToker still to this day has no idea what I replied to him because the Irish language is so difficult to understand, and you can't spell it phonetically because there's GHs and DHs and we've only got 18 letters. He still has no notion, and he keeps asking me, "Hey, Paddy, what did you say? Did you roast me or did you just answer the questions?" The second one that I love was when somebody from England said something to me, and I just said, "Don't worry, you have a pre-existing condition. You're English," and that kind of blew up on me a little bit.
I mean, the fact that it's pronounced slancha and there's no T in the pronunciation, and I'm like, I'll look at it and I'm like, that's not how it's. What are you doing to us?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's another conspiracy that Ireland came up with in 8,000 years ago, just in case there was Trump supporters at one point down the line. Absolutely.
We all have our secret decoder rings that they didn't get.
Yep. So, I have my this is my Trump supporter decoder book. It's got lots of colors in it. This is how I translate their comments sometimes, and they don't get it.
I wanted to talk because a common theme then with these guys is, and myself and a couple of other people were talking about this earlier, is in terms of the absolute refusal to listen to science. And that's the biggest example of that is COVID. Yeah. And we had Donald Trump 2 days ago saying, "Yeah, if I get reelected, I'm going to fire Anthony Fauci," who seems to be like the safe pair of hands that we're clinging to because at least there's one adult in the room. Like, how long is it going to take for us or for you guys, because we're fine in Ireland, but for you guys to kind of roll that back and to have a kind of confidence in the scientific community again?
I think it depends on who you ask. Like, I don't know if once Donald Trump's gone, all of his supporters are going to suddenly go, okay, fine, I'll wear a mask. Like, I don't know if that's going to switch anytime soon, and people are going to start believing in science here anytime soon, because we have so many different people here that are just we're all a bunch of Karens, basically. America's full of a bunch of Karens and Kevins that kind of want to do their own thing. Obviously, a lot of us don't care about wearing masks. I'm a fat guy. I'm out of breath walking from my car to my work, and that's only 20 feet. And I'm wearing a mask, and it's fine. But these thin, pretty people are like, I can't wear a mask. It's against my civil liberties.
Yeah, so Scott Atlas was obviously brought in by Donald Trump because he watched him on Fox News and said,
yeah,
okay, there's a yes man. But what's striking is Scott Atlas was on Russian television this week, talking about the United States response to COVID. And the White House even said, well, he didn't have authority. Like, we didn't say that was okay. So when he's like leading up the public perception of the task force right now, like it's hard to think that anytime soon in the next, I would even say 12 months, that you guys are going to get this COVID thing under control.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a while.
Murphy, what do you think?
A shit show.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. I mean, it takes about 3 seconds to destroy the truth, but then a lifetime to get that truth back.
Yep.
Because I mean, it's for 4 years, everyone who's been reporting everything has just been, you're fake news, you're fake news, you're fake news, you're fake news. Well, the science doesn't agree with you. Well, the science is fake. I mean, even that when he went to California and he was talking to Governor Newsom and a whole mess of the other scientists about what's going on in California, and he said, "Well, I think the science
wrong.
disagrees. Science is wrong." And he couldn't pull an algebraic equation out of his ass, even if he prayed to God. But the fact that, I mean, you have scientists that have doctorates and degrees upon degrees and years of experience, and you're going to say, well, I think that the science is wrong.
Yeah, I think that was in relation to
it's a bold statement. Like,
that was in relation to the forest fires, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was in relation to him.
You gotta rake the floors. Yeah.
I spoke to a guy in Finland who said that they're a forest nation and they don't have fires. That's because 8 months of the year it's covered in snow. Yeah. That's why. That's what happens.
Frozen water.
I'm just looking at the comments here, guy, and obviously Mitch McConnell has just been reelected in Kentucky. I don't think anybody kind of saw that as a surprise. The guy is like, he's so connected. He's got so much money coming into his campaign. There was no doubt that he was going to, the only thing that's going to catch Mitch McConnell is death, I guess. But
he looked like he was headed that way.
I think they're friends. You know what I mean? And again, I just want to update there. Texas currently 61%. It's Biden 51% and Trump at 47.6%. And Donald Trump by 50.6% in Florida, 48.4%. And I'm focusing on those two because I genuinely think if Biden wins Florida, like it's looking really, really good. Mm-hmm. And if Biden doesn't need Texas or Florida, in my opinion, but if he wins Texas as well, it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
well,
I was telling people earlier.
I
was telling people earlier, like, Donald Trump needs Florida. Joe Biden doesn't need Florida. Mm-hmm. But if Donald Trump loses Florida, then it's a really good sign for our side. Mm. But they're saying that Donald Trump has a very, very narrow path to a victory, whereas Joe Biden has many different directions that he can go to still win this. So that's why I'm like, okay, Florida's probably going to go towards Trump, but it's like,
go ahead. I think my dude, who you're going to have on later, I think one of his videos, he said exactly what you're saying is that you look at the swing states and how everyone's kind of projecting. Biden just needs one of those swing states, correct, and he's got it. Trump needs all of them, and if he doesn't get all of them, he's SOL.
Right, and what the Associated Press is basically saying right now that Joe Biden's leading in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the swing states.
Of the 7
and
swing states.
Some by a lot.
Yeah,
Some
and he's
not
got
even
New
close.
Hampshire, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Texas.
Yep.
So far. So, I mean, we'll see hopefully Michigan flips back. That would be nice. It's only 8% reporting, but I don't have any qualms about, if Iowa goes either way. I don't give a crap. But
again, Biden doesn't need it.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't need most of these states. But the fact that he's up in 5 of the 7 that we're kind of querying.
Yeah. And Arizona hasn't even shown their results yet. So
yeah, true enough. So do you guys think will there be a concession speech?
No.
Tonight? No.
I
mean in general, because I don't think there's going to be one.
Trump
he's not going to concede. He's going to whine.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's going to be, you let me down. You were supposed to be in my corner.
Twitter better be ready for his tweets.
I don't honestly. I think he's gonna tweet it in.
Yeah,
he's gonna tweet it in. He's not gonna. I mean, of course, the media is gonna want to say, "Hey, you lost the election. What are your plans now?" It's not going to be I'm going to Disney World.
Right.
What he's going to say is, I didn't lose the election. They stole it from me. That's going to be the sentence. That's going to be the sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the rest of us are just going to say, bullshit.
His people will believe it. His followers will believe it until it's officially over with.
Well,
I think they'll still support him until he's done officially. I think.
I do the whole interview that he had on Fox and Friends this morning. He sounded completely defeated.
Yeah,
like he knew it was not going to end up well for him.
It was the audio version of the video of him leaving the Tulsa rally from the helicopter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like that was the visual. I just got defeated, and then the interview this morning, like you just said, it's like, well, shucks, I don't know if I'm going to do it.
I'm just reading here, guys. In Ohio, Biden is up 12 points, 55% to 43.8% in Ohio with 49% of the vote. Pennsylvania, 10% of the vote is in. 65.5% for Biden, 65.5%. And Trump needs Pennsylvania. If he doesn't win Pennsylvania, it's over. Yeah. It's over for him in the Northwest. It's over.
It's looking positive for Joe Biden.
But now it's only 10%.
Yeah, so it's light.
But still, you know what I mean? So, and look, we're not political experts either. We're just regular dudes who just decided, oh, this is TikTok. What's this about? And this is my niche. Grand, I can talk and bullshit in it. So we're not experts, but we're just hypothesizing aloud for the almost 200 people who are watching.
Hello, 200 people.
Really?
Yeah. 190 of those are here for you, Brain Daddy. And the one is split between myself and Murph.
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
And that's his wife who's sitting opposite.
She just came down. She said, "Where are you live?" And I'm like, "We're on YouTube." And she goes, "Oh, all right." So,
like, really?
Tell me when you're done.
She can hear me. I mean, our ceilings are like paper thin, so she can hear everything I'm saying. She just can't hear you two, so that's the saving grace.
Wow. Okay. So, knock. Hey, Murph. Knock.
Who's there?
Go fuck yourself, Murph. Go fuck yourself. Okay. How do you like them apples? Or maybe would you prefer that I told some of the jokes you were telling me before we came on?
No, we're not going to tell those. No.
So here's actually a question I was going to ask. Where did it go on me? The question was, what are we go? There it is. There. What are you guys going to do for content after the election? Now, and I talked about this before. Just because Trump is all we're talking about doesn't mean that all there is to talk about is Trump. So, like, I think some of us are diversifying. Myself and Murphy are moving into comedy and history and stuff like that. Brain Daddy, on all of his accounts, is staying stagnant. So I'm not sure what really he's going to do. Cynthia, I just want to say a shout out to Frankie.
I want to talk about the different types of poops you can have. personally.
Okay, that might be interesting. But maybe on one of your accounts. But on a serious note, Murphy, like what are you going to focus on? Because
you know, like you said, I mean, when I first got on here, I was just going to do, you know, fun stuff, comedy, a lot of cosplay. I mean, if you guys saw my my Halloween stuff, it was all about
awesome.
cosplay and everything. That's the kind of stuff that I wanted to do, you know, like lip syncing and, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And then I just got sucked into the whole political spectrum, and I'm going to stick with it. You know, whenever you know, a news story comes across my desk, and I think, oh, this I would like to put my 2 cents out on this one. I'm going to do that. But for the main thing, you know, I asked myself this question, you know, like about a week ago, you know, once the election is over, what the hell am I going to do? And 2 words kept on floating across my mind the entire time: OnlyFans.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, for those people who know my content, Buttercup is going to be a big part of my life now moving forward, and Buttercup is probably going to have her OnlyFans. Absolutely.
Oh boy.
No problem whatsoever. My biggest thing is the 2 words that I was thinking about was Electoral College. So I think a lot of my content, especially after Inauguration Day, and I'm going to be in Washington for inauguration, so I'm looking forward to that, is going to be, you have a blue Senate, you have a blue House, hopefully, and you have a blue White House. Get rid of the Electoral College. Let's go ranked choice, and let's change the system so it's not broken for the next 100 years.
Yeah. It's the Electoral College is, I mean, it's an archaic system for an archaic voting system.
I hate it.
I mean, it was invented because people couldn't get to the polls because they were either walking from it was a 5-day walk, or, you know, they were in horse and buggy. We don't have that problem anymore. We can get information on our phones nowadays.
Sorry, Brain Daddy is laughing.
Yeah, I saw the OnlyFans. How much Twitter? But yeah, it's. I mean, there's a lot of our laws in America that are from the 17 and 1800s that are. I mean, some of them aren't enforced. Like, you can't cross the street on a Tuesday when you're carrying a cod.
Yeah.
There are laws like that all over the country, and none of them are getting expunged.
There's a law in Arizona where you can't have a donkey in your bathtub. And I'm like, where did that even come from? How did
What kind of a donkey and what kind of a bathtub is that?
What kind of donkey show were they running that night?
And I'm like, we don't even have donkeys in Arizona.
That's an OnlyFans right there. That is an OnlyFans right there.
Me and my
I've got a donkey in my bathtub.
I miss my donkey.
Yeah, I'll be Shrek, and then I got donkey in the bathtub. So it'll be $5 a video, folks. That's where I'm going to start. Starting low.
Very nice. Brain Daddy, number 2 prostitute in all of Arizona.
Fire nice.
I don't know what accent that was. I
That
apologize.
was not Borat. That was not Borat.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It was Borat's cousin.
Yeah.
Finbar.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Moron, correct.
Heather Lee is, guys, catch me up. And please, all my TikTok guys are giving mixed results. Well, obviously we're the professionals. So yeah. So just to be clear, it's going as predicted, with the exception of Texas is 50.5% Biden, 48.1% Trump after 63% of reported votes. And Florida, after 91%, is 50.7% Trump and 48.3%. So it looks like Texas for right now is going blue and Florida is staying red. And either way, that's a positive result for Joe Biden.
Correct.
Yeah. So
if Texas and Pennsylvania go blue, I think this is put a fork in that one.
And just bear in mind, there's only a dozen states who are actually giving us information right now. So many states, including Arizona, there's nothing to talk about as yet. Yeah. And there's some states where there's nothing going to be able to be reported for 2 to 3 days. You know what I mean? So again, we're hypothesizing, but we're glad that you're here, all 190 of Brain Daddy's family. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that so much.
I mean, we can. If New York goes blue, if Florida goes red, those 29 electoral votes kind of counteract each other, and we don't even have any results from New York yet. So,
and just tying on from that, I understand that a lot of the people watching here, a lot of people on TikTok are stressed and anxious and absolutely out of their minds. And I suppose what the three of us do and other people do, and even though we're suffering from anxiety and stuff ourselves at times, we try to let you know, this is all the information I know. It's not going to be as bad as what you think in your mind. Deep breaths, relax. You've done everything that's in your control insofar as you have voted. After that, all you can do is sit back, have some popcorn, watch us, and just wait. And unfortunately, for me, I want patience and I want it now. So it's not,
I'm the same way.
So it is really tough. But I promise you, since yesterday when I made my prediction has remained the same. I am 100% certain that Joe Biden was going to be the 46th president of the United States. 100%. I haven't wavered at all. And I'm jinxing you all, but I'm okay to jinx you because I'm in a different country. On a different continent.
Terrorist.
Terrorist. Yeah, Trump just got, it's now, Biden's got 85, Trump got 72 electoral votes. Indiana just went red.
Yeah.
So it's,
that's expected. That's expected again.
The thing that I'm looking for is that this electoral vote doesn't switch. Like Biden stays in the lead the entire time. Because if it switches at all, then Trump's just going to hold on to that little bit, and he's just, now it's fixed after it goes, if it goes back, because it will go back. I mean, so
I think we got a lot. So like once the West Coast starts to come in, and Arizona and New Mexico, I mean, the West Coast is guaranteed to pretty much go blue. I mean, solid blue. Like Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada will probably go blue. Arizona's leaning blue. So like once all of those come in, I mean, it kind of just depends on the timing of how they announce these things. But you're right. He should stay kind of somewhat in the lead, even if it's just a little bit, until the West Coast comes in, and then it's like boom, boom, boom.
But Sarah Love is absolutely correct. We all have PTSD from 2016. We're seeing it's like, oh no, I've seen this before and I don't like it.
But Murph again, and I said this repeatedly. So the difference between the last election and this one is 100 million people voted before the election day, whereas in the last election, 103 million people didn't bother their arse to vote at all. So I think it's really important to just stress that it's not the same as the last election because everybody got out the vote.
Right, because
the people who haven't showed up to vote this time are going to be Republicans because they don't support Donald Trump, who's not a Republican.
It's because we saw what happened in 2016, which is why we're now voting in a much higher volume now, because we know what happened. We saw what happened. And plus, we also have 4 years of Trump to look at as like our base here. And yeah, I mean, I agree. There are a lot of people on my pages are commenting, oh, do you know how many Republicans register to vote for the first time? It's way outdoing the Democrats. And I'm like, it's probably because they're registering to vote against Trump. Like they feel they're Republican, but they want to vote against Trump. They don't understand the gravity of how many Republicans are voting against this man.
Oh yeah. Someone said earlier to me that we keep on seeing all of these. I'm a longtime Republican and I'm voting blue this time. I have seen so many Republicans voting blue. I have yet to see any Democrats vote Republican.
I haven't either.
I'm sure. Let's not forget, there's a demographic that sometimes we forget. Women are voting against Donald Trump this time, whereas last time they were voting against Hillary Clinton. Correct. So that's really important to say. Like, I would imagine 20% of Trump's vote the last time was a protest vote against Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And then the other 103 people didn't bother. So he doesn't have that vote this time, as well as over 65 and the coronavirus, etc. So realistically, there should be no reason for Donald to win at all in any way, shape, or form. It's just your archaic electoral college that has decided that if you win 13 states, you can technically become the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. It's just...
just so you guys know, Jo Jorgensen, she now has 1% of the vote.
Hassan. Okay, whatever.
Got a chance. We got a chance, baby.
Well, third party last time took 7% of the vote total. So the fact that it's still only 1% plus about 0.8% for everybody else, that's still very, very low. And it just means that people, again, are not voting third party. They're voting Joe Biden to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't get in.
Yeah.
Just looking at Texas again here, it's gone very close again. 49.9 Biden, 48.8 Trump after 65%, and Florida after 92%. It's looking very likely a Trump win here, 50.8% versus 48.2. And in about a minute, we're going to get a lot of polling numbers. Kansas is 52% Biden. Missouri is 63.2% Biden after 10% of the votes. That's big, isn't it? For Missouri?
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that accent.
That's where the McCluskeys, those two idiot lawyers.
Oh yeah.
That stood in front of their front lawn with the guns. I mean, they're from St. Louis. So yeah, I was expecting, Missouri to go red, but every bit helps.
Yeah, every Missouri, bit helps. Like in the polls, Missouri was like way red. Like in the polling.
Now again, it's only after 10%. 10%. Still, even then, here, there's a comment on the screen, guys. Which one of you want to take that? Any update on Kanye West?
He's not.
Is he on his meds? Are you talking about his medication, or are you talking about his run for president?
He's off his rocker. He's insane.
Yeah, even his wife is afraid for his safety at the minute. And
I think candidates have gotten 0.1% or 58,000 votes. So
excellent, and 57,000 of those are Kardashians.
New Mexico. Okay, so it's now 119 Joe, 92 Donald. New Mexico went blue. But also North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Wyoming went red. That was expected though.
Nebraska just went red, yeah, absolutely. Again, this is the Midwest, so all of that is always going to be Republican.
Oh my God, it's going so well.
The less people in a state, the better. You know what I mean? In terms of the Republicans,
right? Yeah.
And Trump never had any chance in New York, zero. But
oh God, no,
I think like 80% will vote against Donald Trump in New York, even though that's where he has most of his business dealings starting out. That's where he rescued the 9/11 people. That's where he,
he was lifting boulders up. He said, I was lifting rubble.
New York went blue. So that's.
So we're predicting these things as they happen. I'm delighted. That's 29 electoral college votes that were presumed, but
his delusional supporters genuinely believe that New York and California are going to go red this election. Like they were like absolutely positive. And I'm like, what drugs are you on? And can I have some? Because there is no way. You know how many liberals live in California and New York? Do you know how much of Hollywood lives in both of those states? And how much influence Hollywood has on this? Like, people who are liberal flock to California.
If Wisconsin goes red, I'll be packing my bags to Ireland. Uncontrolled Chaos Podcast has said. So
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
So actually, guys, time has actually really creeped up on us there. We're at an hour there. I have another podcast to do in about 30 minutes. But I just first of all, this has been a very different type of podcast because it's not serious. We're three jokers really, with with some personality, Mike. So I want to say thanks to the both of you for being here because this is only my second type of thing like this ever. So that's pretty awesome. So what I just want to give yourselves an opportunity to plug yourselves a little bit. So Mike, take it away there. Plug yourself.
You want to watch me plug myself? Is that allowed?
All the time. Yeah.
You might get flagged for sexual gratuitous acts.
I got a Sprite can. I can try a Sprite can if that's
really uncomfortable to hear.
It's a little big.
But no, hit us with
myself. I am on TikTok. Anyone who's watching knows that. I'm on TikTok. I am the Brain Daddy YT. I try to be funny. I do. I really do. Even though it doesn't.
You are funny, man. You are funny.
Thank you, Murphy.
Yeah.
Murphy, go on. Sell us
Okay,
your dream there.
So my dream is to own the tiniest little whorehouse in Texas.
Aww.
It's
course,
been
it's
my
always
dream
about whores.
since I was a little girl in a Soviet gulag. Yeah, you guys know me on TikTok. Just follow my stuff. I try to live stream when I can. Every Saturday night, I live stream on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/WellHey Productions. You go to my bio on TikTok, you got all the links there to all of my good stuff.
Hey Murphy,
I'm actually really glad I found that Linktree stuff because I've seen so many people do it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I want to put so many links in there and I can't, and now I can put them all in the Linktree, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. But every time now that I click,
filming on a toaster right now?
Yeah, it's a bit broken. You're
Murphy.
Every time I click on your link tree now, I'm going to just expect an OnlyFans. Like every single time, I'm just going to. What's he up to today? Oh, there's the OnlyFans.
Do you guys want to do a? Do you want to do a triple?
Oh yeah, the pronoun trouble. After I what Paul Venturi said, before my original account was blocked or banned, I had a Bugs Bunny Daffy Duck lip sync video that I did. It was a perfect loop of Daffy getting his bill blown back on the side of his face, and I played Bugs and Daffy and Elmer. So after the election, I will be reposting that on my current account. It got so popular. It was so fun to do.
What's the worst that could happen, Murph? What's the worst that could happen?
Anyway,
guys, I'm gonna call a lid there. Anyway, thanks. I'm Paddy the Panda. I'm on TikTok, and obviously this is my channel, Paddy the Panda. Thanks for being here. We're going live again in another 24 minutes with my dude and Rattle 2020. We're going to talk more detail about. It's going to be a much more serious thing. I'm going to be very quiet during that one. But thanks to the guys for being here. It was very short notice, and I'm so grateful to the couple of hundred people who were here. Thanks so much, and we'll see you in the next cartoon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.